How to write product descriptions that get more Google traffic. Getting Google traffic is one of the best ways to drive more highly qualified customers to your store. People who come from Google search are typically more likely to become customers of your store. They go to Google to research for a product, they want to solve a problem, and most likely at the end of the day, they would end up buying a product. So if you are getting ranked on Google search and you're getting people from Google coming to your store, then that is very beneficial and it's going to get you more sales in the long run. In today's video, I explain to you what you should be including in your product description so Google understand what your products and store is about, give you a higher ranking on Google search, and you're going to get clicks from Google search users and ultimately get more traffic and sales for your store. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI doctor who helps small businesses and online stores get more traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. If you're watching this video, I presume you are either a Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, BigCommerce store owner, and you are most likely wanting to grow more Google traffic to your store. You might also want to check out my other video right here, link in the top right hand corner, where I talk about the 5 tools you need to set up to get more Google traffic. So do check that out. One of the most common mistakes that store owners make is they don't put much thought into their product titles and their product description, nor their product images. They don't realize that these 3 elements do play a huge role in helping a customer decide whether to buy from your store. It's not just about putting up your products and setting up the store and everything. You need to put some thought into it, especially if you want to get Google traffic. 2 ways that most people go onto Google and how they use it to search for products is they either search by a brand. If you're a well-known store, that's awesome for you. If you're not a well-known store, most people don't know about your store, then you will be expecting Google users to come through to your store by searching for products. And that's where putting thought into your product titles and your description comes into play. If you want to learn more about how you can enrich your product titles to get ranked higher on Google search, you can check out my other video right here, link on the top right hand corner, where I explain to you the different ways where you can enrich your product title by putting different attributes depending on your product category. In today's video, we're going to focus exclusively on how to enhance your product description and make it more Google friendly so your products will be ranked higher on Google search and Google shopping. Let's first address the 3 common mistakes that store owners make that is hurting your chances to be ranking on Google. Number 1, using manufacturer copy. Essentially, you are getting your products from different manufacturers and they give you some information on what the product is about, and they list out to you what are the different features of the product, and you don't do anything to it, you just copy and paste it on your store. That's a no-no. Please don't do that. Think about it. If you are not the only store selling exclusively for this manufacturer, they will provide the same copy to the other store owners as well. When there are multiple retailers like yourself putting the same description like the other store owners and you're publishing it, and Google scans your store, scans the other stores and realize that, oh, this looks like the same product with the same description, and they identify your store product as a duplicate. Duplicate meaning a copy. And Google looks at this in a non-favorable light, meaning that because you have duplicates of the same product, Google sees all of them as one singular product. And this means that if you are one of the stores that has published your products even later than other retailers, that's even worse for you. It means that your products will most likely not even get a chance to be ranking ever on page 1 of search results. Because Google says, these are all the same products, they're the same things. So I'm not going to show the same results on Google search for a user to see. Imagine this, if a Google search user see that there are 3 different stores selling the same product, having the same product title, having the same description, everything is exactly the same. How is that going to be useful for the user? If you have multiple products having these duplicates, then it's going to really hurt your chances to be ranked on Google, and Google will give your store pages a penalty. The only chance that your store products will ever be ranked on Google search is only if you have unique copy, unique product description for all your products. Doesn't matter which of your products it is, whatever the manufacturer has shared with you for the product description of the products, please make your changes accordingly to make sure that your products look different and appear differently from the other stores. That's the only way your store can stand out from the others. Mistake number 2, your products have very short description. Having short description, that's not going to help your products rank higher on Google search. Without having the right keywords in place, without having the related phrases or details of your products, benefits of your products listed out properly in longer paragraphs and sentences, that's not going to help Google to understand what your products are about. If Google can't understand what your products are about and don't understand the usefulness and value of your products, then they can't put your products higher on Google search. Google's aim is always to provide the most relevant search results for the users, so they will return and keep using the search engine again and again. They want to provide high quality search results. That means the most relevant, the most useful. So that means helping the users to gather as much information as possible and make a decision to buy the products within the shortest possible time. When you provide more information for your product description, it helps you rank higher for the different keywords, and get more opportunities to rank for different keywords that's related to your products, and it also helps Google to assess and make the decision to place your products higher on Google search. So you have to work on your product description, add in more keywords and more phrases. I'm going to give you more details and examples of what you should be including in your product description to help you write better and rank better for your product. That will be in the next part of the video. And lastly, mistake number 3, not customizing your meta description. What is a meta description? Meta description is a preview of your entire product page, a summary that's going to help Google users to quickly glance through and decide if they want to click on your page through search results. If you do not customize your meta description, whether it is on the Shopify store or WooCommerce, then what happens is Google will automatically extract the first few parts of your product description itself, and then they will list them on the Google search results page. If you want to know exactly how each of your products appear on Google search, you can put in this command into your search bar itself and see exactly how it looks like. I'm going to put it right here and you can type it out. So basically it's site, S-I-T-E, colon, and then you put your website URL address, and it will show you exactly how your pages would appear on search results. Hope that'll be useful for you so you know exactly what Google search users are looking at, and you will understand why even if you're ranked on Google search, you're not getting those clicks to your store. Next, I'm going to cover the 5-step process you can follow exactly to help improve your product description, make it stand out on Google search results, and get those clicks to your store. Step 1. Come up with a list of keywords to be included into your product description. Make sure you have the right keywords covered in your product description. The top question to ask yourself is, what would people be Googling for to eventually buy your products? What would they type into Google? You have to work this backwards to understand, put yourself in the shoes of your customers and think of what they are thinking of, the thought process in their head before they eventually discover your products. You have to think of what are the words precisely they will be typing into Google. Are they going to type 2 or 3 words? They're going to type longer words? What are the different ways that they would need your products? Once you have identified that, then think of the variation of the keywords you can include in your product description. Because what I notice is most people end up keyword stuffing, and keyword stuffing is a no-no for your product description because Google sees that as spam. You don't want to keep putting in your keywords unnecessarily. If you can actually put in different variation of your keywords, also other words that's associated with your keywords, phrases that you can include as well, then put that in to string that into comprehensible text for your customers to understand why they should be buying your product. At the end of this exercise, you need to come up with a list of the keywords that you can include into your product description for your different products. Step 2, identify who your customer group is. Who are the people who will be most likely and most interested to buy your products? Who are your products most suitable for? Think in terms of the age group of your customers. Which age group are they in? Understanding the age group will also help you to run better ad campaigns as well if that's something that you're looking to do. Number 2, where they live. Location. Are they living in the city? They're living in the countryside, suburb, whether they are living in a country with seasonal variation, or if they live in equatorial regions. Number 3, which stage of life are they in? Are they teenagers, going to school, or they have graduated, fresh graduates, or people who are intending to get married, or parents? Be clear and specific about the stage of life they are in. That would be really helpful. Or if they have children, or if they're grandparents, that would be immensely helpful for you when you craft that copy. Also, be specific about the gender, whether you're targeting male or female, if your products are gender specific. Another consideration is the lifestyle of your potential customers. Are they people who like to travel? If they go on cruises, or if they have flights to go to different countries, they book hotels, they like caravanning, what kind of lifestyle do they lead? And also consider the values of your customers. If that's essential as well, let's say if they support certain charities, or if they are supporting sustainable products, list out their specific values that's relevant for your products. That could be helpful as well to help you come up with more unique copy in your product description. Another consideration could be also their goal in life. This could be something, if that's relevant to your products as well, do list that out. And the last thing is, why do they need your products? What do they need it for? What problem do they have? Be really clear in this. If you have different groups of customers that you are targeting, list those different groups out. List out all of this information, and that will be really beneficial when you are writing your product description. It allows you to write it from different angles when you're speaking to those customer groups. And with those details you have listed out, when you include them into your copy, readers or customers that are reading those product descriptions will feel more connected to your copy. They will really feel that you are really speaking to them, and they will feel, wow, okay, that's exactly where I am right now. That's exactly how I feel about my situation. This product is the right fit for me. Step 3, match your product benefits to your features. Write down a list of all the features of your products and order them from the most important to the least important. If your product has features that are not available in other products out there, then list those features higher up on the list. For each feature, write down 2 to 3 different ways of how this feature will be useful for them. How is it going to help solve their problems? How is it going to make their life better? And once this exercise is completed, then this is going to make the next step of writing your product description a much easier job. Also, if possible, list down frequently asked questions that some of your customers might have about your products, and you can also add them to the list. Step 4, craft your product description. Pull out your completed exercises from the previous steps and put them side by side, and then you can start crafting your product description for each of your products. Include the question or problem that those people have for each of those products, why your product will be suitable for them, how is it going to help solve their problem because they have this certain feature, and this feature is going to help solve their problem. At the end of it, you can put a call to action why they shouldn't be missing out on this product. And make sure throughout this product description, you weave in the keywords and phrases, associated words to those products inside. After you have crafted your product copy, step 5, optimize your product description. After you have written out a draft of all your product description, now is the time to make it more Google friendly. You want potential customers who come to your product pages to be able to read your product description from beginning to end. If you have written a fairly decent product description that's about 200 to 300 words, You want them to spend more time on those pages and really read through what you have written. Also, Google will see that as a positive signal for your product pages, because Google users who stay longer on your pages after clicking through the search results is giving the feedback to Google that your product pages are useful for those users, so they are willing to spend more time on it. And the next time, chances are Google will put your product pages higher on Google search results. Make sure your product description are broken out into paragraphs. Give it more breathing space, give it more white space, so it allows the users to follow through each line of text, so they don't have to keep rereading the previous sentence. Giving it white space allows them to quickly scan what they're looking for to see if it's useful for them. Also, make sure you test out your product pages on the mobile to see if it's equally reader-friendly as well. If need be, you can also include bullet points to break up your text and make it more reader-friendly. Another way to optimize your product description is to do a grammar check. To make sure that your product description is free from spelling, typo, and grammar error, you can also use two other tools to improve your copy. The basic ones, of course, would be if you're using Google Docs or Microsoft Word, they have basic grammar checks and spelling checks that you can use to run through your product description. The two other tools that I recommend is Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid. They are really good tools because it also gives you recommendation of how you can restructure some of your sentences to make it sound more compelling. So do check those tools out. I'm going to put the links down in the description and pinned comments, so do check the tools out. Aside from spelling, grammar, and typo checks, make sure your text is not stilted. How do you know if it's stilted? Try to read your product description out loud. See if it sounds logical, if it's flowing sentence to sentence, whether it makes sense to put those sentences in those order. The text should come off as natural sounding, as though a person is talking to you, as though a salesperson is right in front of you trying to sell you the products. If it doesn't sound cohesive, it doesn't sound like it makes sense, then chances are it probably needs some rearranging or reorganizing of the text. There are two tools that I can recommend to help you improve on your product copy. That is peppertype.ai and WordTune. They are AI-driven tools that's going to help your product description sound better. These two tools work really well only after you have written at least a first draft of your product description. If you have nothing yet, then those tools are not going to be useful. These two tools are AI-driven and they make use of different information across the internet, and that helps you to craft your sentences or the flow of your text in a more compelling manner. You can check those tools out. I'm going to put the links down in the description and pinned comments. And also don't forget, when you're crafting your product description, make sure you include your brand tone, how you really sound like, to make it sound consistent across your entire store. You want to make it sound as though it's one person writing all your product description, because if it doesn't, that's going to compromise on the trust factor of your store. The next way to optimize your product description is to do a check on your product description for repeated words that you keep using too many times. That's something you might want to review and consider other words that can replace those words. Remember what I mentioned about keyword stuffing? Yes, you don't want that. So you want to use different variations of the same word where possible. If you don't have such a wide vocabulary, then consider consulting thesaurus. You can go to the internet and use different variations of the word where most appropriate. Of course, if you're not able to do all of this yourself, then I'll recommend you to hire a copywriter to help you improve your text. If not, then thesaurus would be your next best friend to help you. And the last way to optimize your product description is to double check on your meta description. Head on to your meta description and then extract the most valuable benefits of your products and place it there. In the Shopify page is down here, which you can see at the bottom of the product information itself. There is a edit web SEO section which you can use. If you're using WooCommerce, then you're probably using Yoast SEO or Rank Math, and you can head on to this section at the bottom of Rank Math to optimize your meta description. That's the preview part of your product. Very important, because that's the first impression of your products for Google users. You want to make sure you have your best parts of your copy in that short snippet. Just a reminder, you can use this command shortcut to see what's your meta description of all your products, of how other people would see them on Google search results, site, colon, and your store URL. And you will be able to see what Google search users can see when they go on to search results. Having a compelling, outstanding product description is the key to getting more Google traffic. By having the right keywords, by having the right benefits and the associated phrases and more details, it's going to help Google to really understand what your products are about and rank you higher on search results when people are searching for the products. Once they see your products, that compelling meta description is going to be really attractive to them, deciding, oh, okay, this sounds very close like what I'm looking for. Then they will click on it and you're going to get clicks from Google search results. And when people come to your store and stay longer on your store and really read through your copy, there are two benefits to that. Is that they will be convinced by the details that you're providing. They will see that it's more closely related to what they need and they're more likely to buy. And of course, the second part is that if they have a longer, easy to read description, then they're going to stay longer on the site to really understand what your products are about. And that sends a signal back to Google that your products are closely related to what this Google search user is looking for. And in the long term, they're going to say, right, so the last time the users who click on this store stayed longer on this store, I'm going to show these results to this other person who seems to be searching for the same thing. So in the long run, your products are going to rank higher and higher. You're going to get more clicks, and that's going to result in more sales in the long run. So you can see how critical the product description is in selling your products. I really hope you spend more time and effort in crafting your product description and really sit down and go through my 5-step process and write down what it needs to make your product description unique and stand out from other store products. Having said that, Google traffic is definitely awesome and beneficial to getting more sales for your store. However, it's also critical for your store to diversify your traffic source and also get visitors coming from other sources. You can check out my Shopify marketing guide where I put the link in the description and pinned comments where I evaluate the pros and cons of the different ways you can drive traffic to your store and get more store visitors and sales in the long run. And if you need one-on-one help to get more store traffic and sales, check out my link in the description and pinned comments where I help Shopify store owners to rank higher on Google and YouTube. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and found it useful, remember to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on how to get more traffic and sales by getting on Google and YouTube. Page 1. I'm Clarice Lin, RI Doctor, signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you.